What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Terry Duran. Oop, let me get adjusted. Let me see. All right, this works. All right, so let's see if I can get to the chat. Oh, all right, y'all. Today's topic, I am going to be talking about what's wrong with men having standards. And the reason that the thing that actually sparked it, I saw a post on my timeline from Spiritual Word that I wanted to just go in detail about. And I'm trying to, get more proficient with my YouTube channel. But the post that I saw, it said that men are shamed for having standards for women. And then it says, a lady, it's not that men can't have standards, they just can't have standards women don't like. This was an actual conversation I had just now. I have no words. Now, that type of logic or hypocritical perspective comes up a lot when you talk about standards, preferences, and dating in general. There's a very large percentage of women that have very hypocritical stances, and they're very easy to point out. I discuss it on my page and my platforms all the time, and there are other people as well that point out stuff like this. But anytime we talk about standards or what a person doesn't like or who they won't date, we see women talk about this all the time, and they are brutal about it. We know broke niggas don't deserve no pussy. Like, there's all type of rhetoric about what women don't like in men, and they don't really give a fuck about those men's feelings. They don't care about the tone. They don't care about the wordage or whatnot. But when it comes to talking about when men are talking about the women that they're not attracted to or the women that they don't want to date, it's always met with backlash. It's always some unrealistic expectation placed on men. And the example that comes to mind is recently I had a post on my page where it was talking about a woman that lost an excessive amount of weight. So she went from being really obese to fine. And the post talked about she had a coworker that always thought she was cool and liked her personality, but he just wasn't attracted to her when she was extremely fat and obese. And so a lot of the responses from women were things like, "Well, he didn't want me at my worst, so he don't deserve me now." And it's like, well, think about that. Who walks up to somebody and just wants somebody at their worst? Somebody when they stink, when they ain't together, when they look a mess, when there's someone you're not attracted to physically. Women curve men instantly that they are not physically attracted to because they're not interested. They didn't want him at his worst, right? So it's perfectly okay for women to instantly curve or reject men based off whatever reason they come up with. He could not be tall enough. He could not have on the right brands. He could not be cute enough. He could not. It could be any reason whatsoever that the woman feels she wants to curve the guy, and it's perfectly okay. But when men talk about their preferences or their standards on what they, and for most guys, the standards and stuff only really apply to the women they want to marry. Like, men's standards for who they'll fuck and date and hang out with are very, very, very lenient. You know what I mean? Like, they're the level of attraction that they'll deal with. All that is real negotiable. But it only really kind of gets serious when it comes to talking about who they want to marry or who they're going to wife. And so the idea that, like this post says, the woman said, men can have standards, they just can't have standards women don't like. Who in the hell gives women the permission to think that they can control or dictate how men make their dating decisions? It's really a ploy on the know your worth cliche that I often talk about. It's because all women feel that they are worth pursuing, that they're worth dating, that they're worth taking to the next level. And that is not what men experience. That is not the conclusion the men that date those women come to. He doesn't feel like you're worth committing to. He doesn't feel like you're worth, you know, building a life with. He does not feel that you are worth trying to start a family with. And he can have a variety of reasons on how he came up with that conclusion. But that's his business. He gets to make the decision on who he gives his time and energy to. The exact same way that a woman gets to determine who she accepts time and energy from. Women curve men all the time that don't meet their standards and preferences, and it's all good. A lot of the time, the reasoning or the logic behind it is often flawed or shallow. You know, I talk about the dating decisions women make all the time. A lot of their dating decisions are made based off their feelings, their interpretation of something, or some other factor that's really irrelevant or unimportant. And so that's why women have such chaotic dating results. Their dating strategies and the way that they make the way that they evaluate men is often based off inaccurate things, their assumptions about men, their feelings about men, or just what they think men should be doing. And if you anybody that's been following me see that women will even argue with the actual man explaining them to them how men operate, they'll argue with me about it. They feel like men should operate how they want them to, and that's never going to be the case. And that's ultimately what fuels this negative reaction that we get whenever we talk about the standards that men have. You know, when we talk about a man not wanting to marry a woman that posts her pussy and ass online, that's perfectly cool. Like a woman saying, I don't want to marry, I don't want to be with a dude that flash drugs and guns on social media. Nobody would have a problem with that. That would not be met with any negativity. If a woman said, I don't want the type of dude that operates like that or presents himself that way to the public. But when a man says that he doesn't want a type of woman that presents herself to a public a certain way, it's met with backlash. You know what I mean? Like it's always a problem. They always try to find some fault with the man or something that the man did wrong, and that's not the case. A man stating what he prefers or does not prefer, or what he does or what he would or would not accept from someone that he wants to marry, that is his personal choice. And the problem is when we're talking about the dating market, men are the ones that are out there shopping. Men are the ones that are going out their way to initiate conversations. They're the ones that shooting their shot. Men are the ones that are pursuing women. Women are not actively pursuing men. Women in general are sitting back and choosing from the men that show interest in them. And that's their preferred method of operating because it minimizes the amount of rejection that they have to deal with. Like a cute woman's not gonna go to a bar and offer to buy a drink and get curved in front of her friends. Women are not gonna put themselves out there to have to deal with some of the humiliation and embarrassment that come with being a man in the dating market. And that's plays a role in the success or the outcomes that women have. Women have less input on their dating success because of this sheltered system that they prefer to go by, where they sit back and all they got to do is make sure that they look cute, and they can get to choose to either accept or reject the events that come towards them. Now, that doesn't work out well for all women because that type of system is really dependent on what men use to shoot their shot, which is physical attraction. So the women that are physically attractive or have the things that men sexually desire are going to get more opportunities. But with all those opportunities, it doesn't really benefit them because, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of the dating decisions women make are based off stuff that don't really matter. Irrelevant things that don't let them know whether a man is a quality guy, whether he's husband or father material. It's based off their feelings. It's based off how attracted to them they are. It's based off things that are extremely insignificant in the long run. And so that's why you see so many women of all calibers, all education levels, all finance levels that make horrible dating decisions. They make their decisions on dating largely off how they feel, how the guy makes them feel. Um, I'm not a woman, so I can't really speak to it, but I can identify the problems. It's not hard for men to identify other men that are husband material, father material. So it's hard to see why women struggle at it so much. And this is something that, I mean, it's not any one group of women. Guys have seen this from our family members, from our aunts, our grandma. Like we've all seen women throughout our lives that are horrible decision makers when it comes to how they choose who they give their time, attention, and pussy to. And so the things that really matter from the male perspective, women are clueless about. They don't seem to. It's like it goes in one ear or out the other when we try to tell women how men make the decision on who they gonna casually date and who they gonna seriously date. Women don't seem to be paying attention when men talk about the things that they don't want in a wife or the mother of their children. It always comes back with some type of shaming tactic. Like, for example, the guy that says, I'm not about to wife up a stripper or a thought that shows her pussy on Instagram. Oh, you just intimidated by it. Nah, I just got other options. If I'm fucking some women that have enough self-respect or careers where they don't have to do that, so I have options. It doesn't mean that I'm anything. It means that my preference is to not have a woman that posts her. I don't want my homies to be able to see my wife's pussy whenever they want to. I think most guys feel that way. That doesn't mean I'm insecure or I'm paranoid. Nothing. It's just a certain standard of respect that I expect out of the woman that I'm going to call my wife. Would I feel that way about somebody I was just fucking? Absolutely not. If I'm just fucking you, I don't care what you do with your social media. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the part that it don't seem like women really get. Most guys are not going to tell you nothing or give you no criticism because you're not their woman. You can do what you want to do. What you do don't impact his life that much. It really only impacts when he's with you. So he doesn't have any incentive to try to correct you. He doesn't have any incentive to point out the things that I be posting about that create conflict or cause him to not view as somebody he would want to marry. It's not in his best interest to break all that down for you. So he's not. A lot of guys can't really articulate their thoughts and feelings or observations on the things that they see in women. So they don't. They just, go with the flow, take things as they come, and they're cool with that. Because they're operating in a way where they're able to consistently meet their relationship goals. And so when we're talking about the standards and preferences that guys have, are some dudes unrealistic? Yes. There are some men that are clueless about healthy relationships and dating and have very unrealistic standards of women. But that's okay. A person that has unrealistic standards or unrealistic preferences, ultimately they just hurt themselves because that unrealistic nature of their preferences and expectations causes them to eliminate quality people for bad reasons. Or it causes them to search for something that is almost impossible to ever find. So if you have something that makes what you're looking for almost impossible to find, then you have an issue with your standards. They're not realistic. They're not the person that you're likely to find or come into contact with. They're not representative of what the average person's makeup is. Income level, attraction level, etc. Nobody's going to be all tens. And, a lot of times, like, shout out to my man Kevin Samuels, like, we see the women that come on his platform that view themselves as tens. I'm a 10. What would you rate yourself on? I'm a 10. They honestly, truly believe that. I can assure you that the men that they date don't feel that way. I can assure you that almost all the other people that see them and know them don't feel that they're tens or they're perfect or there's no room for improvement. But that mentality on how they view themselves, what do you think it's like to date a woman that views herself as perfect? What's it going to be like when you try to tell her she's wrong? When something that she did is the cause of the problem? When she's the one that's killing the relationship? When she's the one that's increasing the chances she gets cheated on or dumped? How is that type of woman going to respond to that? Do you think she's just going to self-reflect and be like, damn, I really am bugging. What I'm doing really don't make no sense. Those expectations that I have really are not realistic. Do y'all really think that these women are gonna have that level of self-awareness? Hell no. Because they have people pandering to them that feed them all this nonsense. You gotta cash up you $200 to take you on a date. Like, there are people that actually get paid off of this type of stuff, that have an audience of women that are anxious to hear it. And these are the same women that have a problem with a man. A man saying that he wouldn't date or he doesn't want to date a woman that's obese. Because a lot of times I think men are fair when it comes to their preferences or they're realistic. Because I don't think even guys where they get with a girl, right, and she's fine and she gains weight, I don't think most guys just instantly dump her and just leave. I think there's a lot of conversation about, hey babe, you gained some weight, let's work out, let's do this. It's the lack of effort that ultimately makes a person be like, man, F this, I done had enough. Like when if you have somebody that's coming to you with a complaint like that and you put effort into changing it or fixing the problem, most people are receptive to that and can deal with it. So I think most, as long as the guy has realistic standards and preferences on the type of women based off what he brings to the table, and back to the Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels is teaching women how to get a rich man. That's what they want. They call him trying to get clues and insight on how to get rich men. Men that make several $100,000 per year, that live a luxury lifestyle. That type of man is going to be able to have some very, very unrealistic dating standards as far as appearance goes, as far as the type of behavior he expects out of a woman, as far as what he expects sexually, as far as what he feels he's able to do, as far as him being a hypocrite, as far as his behavior goes and her behavior. But he's the one footing the bill. That's what comes with that. That comes with the control to be able to dictate the situation. And if you want to be able to deal with a dude where all you got to do is shop and cook and clean and take care of the kids, it's going to come at a cost. For a lot of women, they feel that that's a better, situation for them than having a career and simply contributing to a household. A lot of women will frown upon that because they're not getting, the things that come with the luxury lifestyle. So it's all about what the woman's expectations are. Some women are perfectly fine with getting with an NBA player until they actually experience what it's like. Until they getting STDs and finding condoms and doing, until they start to actually experience all that comes with dating a dude that posts a Rolls Royce in his stories all the time. That's when they actually see what it's like and get to see the bigger picture. Me personally, I think a woman would have a much healthier, a much more sustainable lifestyle with the guy that she met early on and they built their wealth together, where she's contributing to the household. It ain't necessarily got to be 50-50, 50-50. It could be 60-40. It could be 71-29. I really think it should be based off your salaries. Like me and my wife, we have a percentage system where we transfer a certain percentage of our take-home pay to our joint account. We each have a pool of money to play with. You know what I'm saying? Like We still have freedom to do our own thing, and we have enough in the joint accounts to all the bills get paid. It ain't necessarily it ain't 50-50. You know what I'm saying? Like, so how you pay your bills or the system that you come up with, as long as both people are cool with it and view it and see the benefit of it, it should be fine. The problem is when a lot of times when we talking to these women, their perspective of things are not practical or based off of reality. They're like they take offense at the idea of being average, when almost everybody in the world is average. As average as far as looks, income, etc. Most people in the world are average. That don't mean that you're not attractive. Attractive people are everywhere. But the people that are drop dead gorgeous and don't need surgery to get that way and don't have to have all type of enhancements, they're just naturally gorgeous, they're very rare. They're very rare. You know, and it's crazy because these women, they know that they, in order for them to look their best or to feel like they look their best, they have to enhance their eyelashes. They have to enhance their face. They have to enhance their body. They have to enhance this. They have to get clothes that enhance this. They have to have a list of enhancements so that they can look great. Don't that tell you that you was average and you had a bunch of add-ons? You upgraded in a bunch of different areas? If you were just naturally above average looking, you wouldn't need to do all that. And so there's absolutely nothing wrong with, viewing yourself as the average person. You can still be very attractive because the thing about dating, you do not have to be the most attractive person in the world to be successful with dating. All you have to do is when you come in contact one-on-one with people that in your dating pool, you have to be able to attract a significant amount of them or a decent amount. As long as you can do that, you good. So you don't have to be the cutest girl in the city or in the state or in the school or on campus. As long as when you are one-on-one and interact with guys, they like you enough or they think you cute enough that they shoot their shot, you good. And so it's that lack of perspective that has a lot of women competing with Kim K and they getting surgeries because they feel like that's what they have to do. No, you don't. You're doing that because you want to get the benefits that you see those type of the Black Chinas and all those type of women get. They dating famous guys and dating futures and dating guys that take them on private jets and all this type of stuff. And so they want to get the shortcut to that type of lifestyle by getting a big ass booty, getting getting a type of body, posting a type of content that has rappers and athletes lusting over them. You can't knock it. Sex always sells, but it comes with the cost. That usually comes with you viewed a certain way. You're gonna get the level of respect that people have for you is not gonna be the same as it is for women that don't take that route or don't live that type of lifestyle. And you have to deal with it. You have to be willing to accept the good and bad with the decisions and the choices that you make. So, there's absolutely nothing wrong with men having standards and preferences on what they will and will not accept in the women that they want to date seriously. And like I said earlier, most guys are not going to be giving you a breakdown on whether you are passing or failing his desire to be your boyfriend or not. If he's attracted to you and y'all fucking and y'all going on dates and all this, he'll put up with some of the things that he dislikes about you. But it can ultimately be the decision maker on whether or not y'all are going to end up together long term, because the men that are actually smart and actually take their time to get to know women and make dating decisions logically, they're going to view you in a variety of situations before he makes that decision. So your attitude, your perspective on life and other things, all of that is going to be very clear to him. So if you're a very selfish person, if you're very self-centered, if you lack self-awareness, if you do this type of stuff that I post about on a regular basis, it's going to become very apparent to him based off the time he spends with you and interacts with you. So the only person that really has control over your dating situations or you? What do the men that date you experience? Are they experiencing a lot of a lack of logic? Are they experiencing you and dealing with your unrealistic expectations all the time? Are they having unnecessary arguments with you because of your lack of communication or passive aggressive behavior? It could be a variety of different things that make dating or interacting with you unpleasant. And that's ultimately what I would say the biggest issues are. Most women, the way most women think and operate, cause the men that date them to have unpleasant experiences, and that's ultimately why they're not getting commitments as much, and why the relationships that they do get in are usually dysfunctional or lead to unhappiness. So, hope y'all learned something. Um, Hope I was able to provide some entertainment. Don't see any comments, or don't think we got any questions. Let me see. Is this the chat? Nope. Oh yeah, so I don't see any questions, so it don't look like we got any questions that I need to respond to. I appreciate y'all tuning in. This has been Terry Duran. I just wanted to do a live stream talking about standards and preferences. Make sure y'all hit the like and subscribe button and share the video with your friends. I think they'll learn something too. Thanks for tuning in.